Now today we're going to be talking about some future abilities that could be potentially coming to Blue Lock. Now all these abilities are just made up, and if we actually see them, it's completely random. I have no doubt though that we will see more abilities and more characters with unique abilities as the series continues on. Let me know in the comments what other type of abilities or weapons you think Blue Lock will eventually introduce. So the first new ability we have is Rin's new eye. I have no doubt that Rin will have a new eye ability as he has great spatial awareness and eyesight, so it only makes sense for him to get one. I think he will have Metavision, but he will also have a new unique eye granted for him. Rin's playstyle should go back to his instinctive style of play that he showcased during the Under 20 match when he entered Flow. During that time, he was able to destroy every single player's counters against him. Rin is able to bring out an opponent's strongest weapon and then destroy it. I think he will have eyes that primarily focus on doing that, calling it Destroyer Eye. With Destroyer Eye, Rin will be unstoppable and will be hard to defeat. He was already the best in Blue Lock in my opinion, and now with Loki's training, he will become the best striker alongside Asagi after the NEO. We have seen Rin completely dominate a game by himself when in this state, and I know that he can continue that level of intensity once more in the NEO. Being able to surpass his limits from Flow in that moment will allow him to be able to gain those skills once more as he continues to train and get better. Destroyer Eye will be one of a kind eye that only Rin can use and will be a sight for sure eyes. We've already seen a new kind of eye design for Rin when he was in Flow state, so maybe this is what his eye design will be for Destroyer Eye. The next ability we have is called God Hand. Now, God Hand is from the anime Inazuma 11 and it is a goalkeeper's ability. Now, I don't think God Hand will be used as dramatically as it was in Inazuma 11, but what if a goalkeeper had an ability where he had amazing hand catching and ball coordination, where he could catch the ball almost every time due to his hands and reaction time? This would be a good ability for a goalkeeper, and I can see it happening as we have not seen much from goalkeepers at all. One person I can see with this ability is Gagamaru. Gagamaru has amazing reaction time and speed, and it only makes sense for him to get an ability like God Hand where he can focus more on the ball and is able to catch it due to this weapon. We've seen Gagamaru enter Flow in the latest chapters, so I'm sure we will see a good awakening from him and he continue to gather more skills as the NEO continues. Gagamaru's insane reflexes and instinctive moves allows him to be one of the most flexible goalies we have seen. With God Hand, he will raise his stock and go on to become a new Gen 11 goalkeeper, which I think is a good path for him. Next we have an ability called Neometavision. Now what if Metavision could become even higher than before? We've already seen what feels like a super move, but what if Metavision could go even further than that? Metavision is the ability to capture the future and allow someone like Asagi to use his eyes to constantly take in information from his central and peripheral vision. Asagi is able to constantly collect data on every player, every play they make, and their positions on the field. Now Asagi was doing very well with Metavision, but as more people started to get Metavision, it has now become more common with people who have high spatial awareness. It was never meant to be a rare ability that Asagi could use for himself to begin with. Asagi cannot just rely on normal Metavision to win anymore. He must find a way to capture the future faster than anyone else, and you cannot do that with just regular Metavision, which is why I think he will gain a further advancement of Metavision called Neometavision. I think Neometavision will remind me of Akashi's Emperor Eye. The Emperor Eye can see the smallest details of a person's movements, including their breathing, heartbeat, sweat, muscle contradictions, and etc. With this, he can time his actions perfectly to nullify the opponent's movements, sabotaging whatever tactics the opponent tries to execute. All offenses are predicted beforehand and all defenses crumble before his eyes. In short, Akashi can see the future of his opponent's moves. This Neometavision will allow Asagi to transcend past normal Metavision users and be able to see their future moves before they do. I can see this happening the most out of this list as Asagi knows he must capture the future faster than anyone else to score goals. The next ability we have is Ryo's full Chameleon. Now with Ryo's Chameleon ability, he can copy other people's skills but only at 99%. I think in the future that Ryo will be able to copy other players' abilities at 100% and can copy world class abilities, but those ones he can only copy at 99%. Ryo can easily become the best player in Blue Lock, and I can see him developing his skills even more as he is working under Chris Prince, who is getting his body right, and this could make a lot of sense. Ryo reminds me of KiiNGKhyy from Kuroko, who could not originally copy the Generation of Miracles abilities, but as the series goes on he is able to copy it, but not 100%. We've already seen Ryo copy Toshisai's skills once before, and he will make his way up to eventually be able to copy the skills of world class players. Let me know how you guys feel about this one. I feel like Ryo has been getting criminally underrated recently, and his potential is insane. You can say what you want about the Nagi stuff with him, but regardless, he is still a very important piece in Blue Lock, and his skills cannot go unnoticed. If Ryo can fully master his Chameleon ability, he can become unstoppable. Next we have a move called Dash Storm. Now Dash Storm is a dribble move from Inazuma 11, where the user dashes with the ball towards their opponent and they summon a windstorm in their path by crossing their arms, blowing away their opponent and successfully dribbling them. Now, I don't think in Blue Lock they would create a windstorm necessarily like in Inazuma 11, but this move could help a player reach a higher speed of acceleration when entering a certain part of the field. Dash Storm can be an ability that allows a fast-paced player to immediately get past an opponent with the ball and dash through multiple defenders. The player I'm thinking to have this ability is none other than Zen Tetsu. We already know how fast Zentetsu is, and his acceleration is the best in Blue Lock. With dash storms, Zentetsu could easily storm through multiple defenders and look like wind crossing past them. Zentetsu's acceleration is a key weapon in his arsenal. With his quick reactions and incredible acceleration, he can react to any movement his opponent makes and intercept them. He is also in PXG being trained by Loki, whose weapon is his Godspeed, so I can see Zentetsu having an amazing acceleration-like style from Loki, where he's making long strides and can cut into the defenders easily. Next we have Illusion Ball. Now Illusion Ball is another technique from Inazuma 11 where the user holds the ball between their legs and does a somersault, letting the ball bounce off the ground, creating 3 copies of the ball. The balls revolve around their user, confusing the opponent. While the opponent is distracted, the user dribbles through the opponent with the real ball. Now for using this in Blue Lock, I think a player with great dribbling skills could use this to their advantage and create a type of illusion type dribble that confuses the opponent with a bunch of feints and kicking the ball from the ground. The best player possible to do this is Bachira. Bachira already has a great dribbling style that involves confusing his opponents, and I think he could come up with a new weapon that takes his dribbling to another level. He could confuse his opponents even more, looking almost like a magician out there, creating a new way to play with the ball in his hands. He is a player that looks like he has infinite options, and this can confuse a defender who does not know what to do. He already has a trick break ability. After waiting and reading his opponent, Bachira lunges towards a defender, performing a chop dribble between his legs while hugging the defender using their posture to limit their response and push himself forward with the ball. When the defender attempts to respond, Bachira is able to push off the defender with ease while still following the ball and counteracting any further stops. This is the perfect type of dribbling ability meant for him. Now last but not least, we have Misdirection or Lack of Presence. This skill is from KiiNGKhyy himself as he uses his lack of presence to barely be spotted. Misdirection is a technique which diverts the opponent's gaze. It can be used to make a user seemingly disappear out of sight. KiiNGKhyy is naturally hard to notice, so he developed a playing technique using that invisibility. He simply behaves as if another player will get the ball and not him. Plus he tries as much as possible to not show his emotions to reduce his already weak presence. He pushes the opponents to focus their attention to someone else and then steps in unexpectedly. When the opponent can't see him, it is much easier to steal the ball. Misdirection is a technique that fools the opponent's senses. Now the player I have who could potentially have this ability is Kiora Jin. So far, Kiora reminds me of KiiNGKhyy, a smaller player who anyone barely notices and doesn't talk much. I think Kyora's playstyle could be like KiiNGKhyy, a Phantom 6-man type of guy who comes into the game mid-game and becomes a gem to the team, the trump card that Blue Lock could be using in the future. Kiora has not been seen much at all, and his lack of presence just fits for this kind of ability. I wonder just what kind of character he is and what weapon he will have. Well, these are some of the abilities that I made up, and I hope you guys enjoyed some of them as it was fun to come up with them. I obviously got a lot of inspiration from other sports animes, but those animes gave plenty of opportunity for Blue Lock to incorporate them into the series as well. I hope as we get closer to the World Cup, many more characters and abilities will be shown as each character continues to get better and evolve. Well, I hope you guys liked the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back in the next one. Peace.